Hey everybody, I'm back at you with the Tell You What podcast. I tell you what, I am Johnny.
I'm Dave.
And we're coming at you from beautiful Reno, Nevada today. Wonderful day, but we're in here recording, talking to you. I always want to know what you think, what's going on with you. Give us a shout out either on our website or content at tellyouwhatpodcast.com. Send us an email and we want to kind of hear from you. Today we're going to talk about kind of like where we are. And as far as location goes, I mean, we're in Reno, Nevada. At one time was a sleepy desert town. Now it's not. I mean, you and I are both refugees, if you want to call us that, from California. I've been up here about, going on 15 years now.
Jesus Christ.
Right? It's like 2003 or 4. I moved up here, and there's just a bunch of crap. Just growing and growing and growing, and I don't want to sound like the old time. Like when I was over there, that was, that was a field. Now it's a Walmart and a Starbucks.
Yeah. I came here in 09 from East Bay area. Like the Concord, Pleasant Hill, Pittsburgh. Born and raised in Richmond, which is pretty close to San Francisco.
Those of you that aren't familiar with Richmond, my dad worked in Richmond, and he described Richmond as the place where the gangsters come over from Oakland and go, man, this is a rough neighborhood.
That's true.
So
that's true.
If you're listening to us from Richmond, thank you, and
thank you very much.
Thank you for being there. It's kind of like you got to be tough to stay there.
No. You got to be dumb, or you got to be tough. I stole that from somewhere. I don't remember where.
I think it's a Jackass. Wasn't that it?
That's gotta be it.
I think it's a song. It's like, if you're going to be dumb, you got to be tough.
I think that's right.
That's right.
I'm pretty sure.
So, again, those of you in Richmond, don't hate us. You're not dumb or necessarily tough.
No, I'm dumb.
No.
I can assure you of that.
Is that it? That was
no, I am dumb, just to be clear.
Okay. There you go. So, no, I didn't have the privilege of, growing up in, the East Bay. I lived there when I was a little bit like Cordelia, Fairfield area when I was really, really young.
That's not East Bay, by the way.
Well, yeah, it is. Where is that?
Bullshit. That's about as much East Bay as San Jose is.
What would you call that then? What is that?
I have no fucking idea. But I know it's not Bay. It's not East Bay.
So I can't even claim that, huh?
You know what? You can do whatever you want.
Okay, fair enough. I guess I'm the other half of the show, so.
That's true. You can do whatever you want, man.
Do what you want. You're going to do it anyhow. That's what I told my daughter. She'll ask me for permission. She's like, hey, how about this? And I'm like, no. And then she goes, looks at me. I'm like, hey, you know what? Do whatever you want. You're going to do it anyhow.
Dude, my daughter is the same.
Yeah. So kids are fun. So here we are raising them in Reno, Nevada. Growing market. A lot of people moving in from California. And it's just, for better or worse, it's making the property values go through the roof. We're moving further and further away from where we work or from where we do things. It's just getting on the outskirts of things. And I mean, my house value has gone up something ridiculous, like $170,000. And I tell people, it's like, do I think that this collection of like builder grade sticks and sheetrock and paint from Home Depot is worth that kind of money? Hell no. but if there's somebody that wants to pay it, fantastic.
I remember when you bought your house.
3 years ago.
Yeah, and it was about the same time, a little bit after I bought my house up there in Fernley. We paid like it was like $109 for our house or something like that. Yeah. And I remember you telling me how much your house was, and I was like, "Are you out of your freaking mind?"
Yes, as a matter of fact, I am. So.
And now I'm thinking, and looking at like the pricing of the houses, they said like a median house price here in the Reno area, and I use that term loosely, the Reno area, it's like $400,000.
Yeah, the Reno did. Yeah, so the median house price in Reno just hit $400,000. So what that means is that's in the middle. Yeah, there's some houses that are a little bit less. There's some houses that are more. But if you want to hit something right in the middle, if you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go get an okay house, a median house, $400,000. That is absolutely insane. I've told folks a lot of times that. Well, it's my personal belief, my personal feeling, that America or wherever you are is in a nutshell. This is a wonderful place, a wonderful country to live. If you can afford to live here. If you can't, it kind of sucks. The happy median, I think, or the number in my head as a household, if you make $100,000 a year as a household, you're doing okay. And that's not taking expensive trips, having new cars. That's maybe one car payment, buying food, buying groceries, a $400,000 house, which will put your mortgage without 20% down somewhere in the $2,000 to $2,500 range. And that's a lot. That's a lot of money.
Shit, I bought a house in Antioch back in 07,
Oh, wow.
06, during the
peak.
and it was an older place. You know, it was built in the early to mid 90s, I think. I can't remember, but you know, split level house, whatever, 1,700 square feet. No, 1,400 square feet. 2-car garage, no rear neighbors or nothing. But it was in Antioch, and if you know anything about Antioch, it's off Lone Tree and Hillcrest, and probably not the best of areas, but not that bad, not terrible. Kind of like Reno.
Kind of near Discovery Bay, that's nice.
Yeah, not really. Probably closer to Brentwood.
Well, hey, corn.
Corn. Anyway, you can do it.
yeah.
But anyway, that house cost me $595,000.
That is insane. I can't even.
My house payment on that place was before it was kind of refinanced mysteriously. It was $3,100.
That is a lot of money.
And that was back when they were doing that tricky BS-ery financing with the interest only or option arm and all these different kind of things.
Oh, really? So you actually were able to get in on that, or that whole? Hey, I make $5. Oh, we're going to put down that you make 5,000.
Yes,
Sort of thing.
for the lack of a better term, and not really remembering the whole process because it was like a big blur. But yes.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
And after a couple years of refinancing, it went up to $3,600 a month. And keeping in mind that all you're paying is literally interest. I can't remember how it worked because that was a long time ago. It was more than 10 years ago. But interest only. And the idea is you're just paying the interest. You're not staying in the house long term. You're going to sell it after a couple of years. Well, lo and behold, a couple of years later, the freaking housing market or the whole economy just took a dive.
Yeah.
It affected the automotive industry, which affected my work. We talked about being in the automotive industry as for employment. And everything took a dive, so we had to foreclose on it. And so fast forward a year after that, it was finally on the market or whatever, up for auction or whatever they want to freaking call it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's sold for $99,000.
So it lost close to $500,000.
Yeah. The only thing that saved my ass is at the time somebody, I think it was Bush maybe, forgive my ignorance, I can't remember, but he signed this deal in where it was like some sort of forgiveness deal, where like before, say you foreclose on your house and it sold at auction, like in my case, for like $99,000.
That is crazy.
The difference between what you owe and what it sold for, you were taxed or something to that effect. And that was taxed to you as income, and you end up having to, whatever happened. Well, that didn't happen to me, and it didn't happen for a lot of people, which is great. I was grateful for that because, quite honestly, just to put it out there, I probably wasn't able to afford that house anyway. We were in a position where the other half of the relationship was a successful service advisor making a ton of money, ironically enough. And then, shit just fell apart.
So how does that work? I mean, I've never, had the, chance, or I don't want to say chance or opportunity, or like the, whatever you want to call it, to go through that. I mean, did you have to, did you end up paying, were you on the hook for that, or?
No, not at all. That was the great thing about it was, I was worried for a little bit. I wasn't on the hook for anything.
Yeah.
We weren't on the hook for anything because of this whole debt forgiveness thing.
All right.
And and the reason why I'm kind of vague about it, honestly, is just to keep it real because, quite honestly, so much shit is thrown at you in a situation like that for you to even digest a quarter of it, which is probably what I did. It's amazing,
I think that's what a lot of people did. They're like, hey, everybody else is buying a house, and can I? And
that's exactly what we did. For the sake of honesty, just for the future, so everybody knows, this show is all about keeping it real and real opinions and real situations, real shit. So
yeah.
I couldn't afford that house. There was no fucking way that I was going to be able to afford a $600,000 house. Even taking it all into consideration, I wasn't making terrible money, but I'm making more. I was making more then than I am now, but it wasn't terrible.
But still, it's relative though.
Yeah, and the other half of the relationship was definitely bringing home the chunk of the money.
All right.
Even then, to buy a $600,000 house, I guess in the Bay Area is normal.
Yeah, which is
To
ridiculous.
think you got a smoking deal, because if you just went up one block up the road,
Yeah.
it was $750,000 for a brand new basic bitch house. The term basic bitch,
Yeah.
like basic house, not basic like it's a piece of shit, but it's simple, single story, 1,200 square foot, no landscaping, no options,
1,200 square
basic.
feet?
Yeah.
$700,000.
If you're lucky, at the time, brand new.
Even in today's market up here, that'll buy you quite the house.
No, it will.
700,000 will buy you, probably 3,000 square foot house.
For sure,
And then you start optioning it out, then you're at 8, and then 900 to live in the desert.
for sure. Yeah. Anyway,
That's so, man, that is insane. So, we're like I said, we're talking about keeping it real. I'm actually in the position, my wife and I, we bought our house in 2015. Our house was $325.
out of your freaking mind, man.
Well, whatever.
I mean, whatever.
Still. So, our house was $325, and that was a deal. Because we were looking at a home that was $370, but we just couldn't make that happen. Now, this is after all the crazy lending nonsense, so they got things in there that were a little, more realistic for you to do the loan process. And then again, like I said, it's all pretty quick. It's very surprising to me at how easy it is to make a large purchase like that.
Easy.
To buy a house. You're thinking, oh, it's a lot of this, it's a lot of that. But overall, it's not hard. It just takes a little longer. Whereas when you go buy a car, you're going to be there for 3-4 hours or whatever. And it seems like a long time. But the process of buying a home, you got to move and everything, whatever. But the actual process, it's only like a few weeks, maybe, to quote unquote spend or get yourself locked up for that kind of money.
I've always found it a little bit more difficult, oddly enough, now that you mentioned this. In the grand scheme of things, it takes a couple of weeks, but it costs a few $100,000, right?
Yeah.
I feel like when we go buy a car from like a dealership or whatever, it takes literally all freaking day.
Yeah.
Like the last time I bought a car, the VSS Blazer truck.
Yeah.
So I applied for everything online. As a matter of fact, I went in the day before. I applied for everything online the next day. The day that we went there to kind of get the wife's approval, because as husbands we got to do that.
Yeah, you got to do that.
Right? Make up some shit. We got to do that. I still sat there all day, just for them to say, here, sign this paperwork. We're going to go to the credit union tomorrow and sign papers.
Yeah.
What the fuck? What? Why is this taking 2 days? The damn thing's like $20,000. Here's my signature. My credit's fine. Give me the damn truck.
Yeah, sign me up. Here we go.
Same thing with the house. Oh well, but faster in a sense.
It really is.
Because they're like, do you make money? Yes. Have you been there a year? Yes. Have you been there 2? Even better.
Yeah.
Sign here. Congratulations.
So quite literally, we went through that whole process where we were looking at this house and we put our deposit down. We put our $5,000 down. I decided to buy a new house because I grew up single parent, single mom in the country in California, and I just grew up fixing stuff. I learned more about fixing septic tanks, wells, underground water coolers, roofing, by the time I was 20 years old, than I ever wanted to know, and still ever wanted to know. So, well, hey, do you know how this works? Hell no, I don't know how that works, because I don't want to fix it. No, I don't want to help you fix your damn water cooler, your slump cooler. No, I don't want to do that crap. So, I decided to buy a new house, for better or worse. And we can have another topic about this all together. Like, no, older houses have better bones, blah blah blah. I'm like,
we're gonna have a topic about that.
Yeah, I didn't. Sure. Okay, I didn't want to deal with any of that. I know that the build quality or whatever isn't there, but whatever. It's a brand new house, and even if the build quality sucked, I still had a warranty on it. Hey, and they wanted to make you happy, so I called them. Hey, check us out, fix it. So We had that house locked up. We just couldn't make it happen. Either it was credit scores just weren't quite there. We just didn't have, we couldn't get financed for that much based on income or whatever. But we were stretching everything. I mean, I had a car loan. I only owed like $2,500 on this car.
Mm-hmm.
They said, nope, you can't have that. I'm like, are you kidding me? I wanted to get
Is it a loan?
Yeah, $300,000, and you're gonna bitch about $2,000?
$2,500.
Fine, whatever. Sold the car, got some other thing to drive. Just is what it is. And so we got this house, and it turned out, hey, you can't get that house. So I'm like, what the hell do I do now? So at this point, the builder still has our deposit, right? Of $5,000. So I walk into the sales lady's office at Friday at lunchtime, and I was like, hey, yeah, I can buy a house. I just can't buy that house. Do you have any other options for me? And she says, yeah, we have this other house. I was like, well, that's great. That doesn't do anything for me. Is there one? So in where I live in our subdivision, our little neighborhood, one side has some bigger houses, and they're like 2-story, and the other side has like the single stories. For whatever the reason, they decided to divide it up and separate it like that. Hey, whatever, it didn't make sense for them. Whoop-de-doo. But that means I don't have a 2-story house next to me or behind me or across from me.
It's just you.
Yeah, so it's all single stories.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that doesn't, completely kill your view. So we went over there and looked at the house, and like the doors are still in the like one of the living rooms. There's no flooring, there's nothing like that. And the lady got sick or backed out of it or something. She had a couple of options, new house options.
Sure.
Extending the tile, cabinets above the laundry.
Hey, tiles is shit, man.
Oh yeah, but everything. Here's my bad with tile. Anything you drop is gone, totaled, garbage, shit, junk.
Yeah.
I don't care. Mason jar. I had this wood apple that my wife won from something. A freaking wooden apple. It's like some decorative thing. I dropped it, and like just a massive crack. I'm like, garbage.
Damn it.
Yeah, everything. Toys. Anything you drop on that tile floor is just garbage. But it looks nice, it's easy to clean, except for the grout, so on and so forth, whatever. Well, I don't really have a choice because it was already there. And this is bringing us up to another fun little saying we have. I asked her, okay, this is great, I think this will work for us. And I said, what do I do? Can you save this for me? And she said, yeah, sure, I'll go ahead and do that. But she's all, keep in mind that on Monday, this is Friday afternoon now, she said, now keep in mind, Monday it goes up an additional $7,000. And we have the saying, it's, because F you, that's why.
Yeah, of course.
Because what other industry can you do that in?
I can't think of any.
This is insane. Like I said, Dave and I are both in the car business. Say you went to look for a car on Saturday, and that car is $20,000, like you said. Yeah, I kind of like this one, but something? I'm going to go look around, do my shopping, do my due diligence as a consumer, and I'm going to come back and see you on Monday. You come back and see that person on Monday. Yeah, since you didn't buy it on the weekend, it's now $23,000.
Sure, yeah.
You're like, you're on drugs. I'm out of here. You couldn't run a business like that. But the way the new housing market
here, especially now,
here works.
Even back then, I guess.
Yeah, even at 15, you just have to take it because it's part of a new release. Disregard the fact they built it, or started building it, a couple months ago. Doesn't matter. So Friday afternoon, I said, okay, I like it. Save it for me. And Saturday, I told my wife and her mom. So, by the way, my mother-in-law lives with us. It's a great situation. It works for us. We've made it work. She kind of has her own area right there. We're incredibly grateful to have her there, especially with 2 children. It's a really, really big deal. She's not alone. We have help. Everybody doesn't get on anybody's nerves really too much because we've just made it work. Yeah. So, us as Americans, I think we're the only ones that don't live multi-generational under one roof. It's a thing now. They have those multi-gen houses and stuff. So
I swear my wife and I were just talking about that the other day. We were watching some commercials about like old folks homes and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And how the latest trend, I guess here in America, is for the older folks to kind of move in with you.
Yeah, that works.
And I guess that's very common, like elsewhere
Oh yeah,
in the
everybody's-
world. Us as Americans, we're freaking greedy, selfish bastards. Well, now, if you're old, get out of here, kind of thing, you know. But now, I guess it's coming back, you know.
Well, yeah, that's like I said, when this is like one of the only cultures I really know of that kids turn a certain age and they like move away and they stay away. In normal, not I don't say normal, but other places they go, they do their thing, whatever, at college, do something, they come back, and eventually everybody ends up at least in like the same area.
Yeah, well,
You know, we growing up, I had neighbors I think that were from either South America or Mexico, and they had a decent amount of kind of land like we did, you know, a couple acres, nothing huge. But they had, not really like a compound, it wasn't like some major big gate in front of it, but you went in and they had like houses set up in kind of like a quad, and there quite literally was a fountain in the middle of it. And they all kind of looked the same. I want to say they were maybe connected. It was almost like a mission style. I remember Spanish red roofs. I don't know if they're connected, but like grandma lived over there, mom and dad lived over there, new, you know, older grown kids with family lived over there, and they all just kind of had their own houses, their own areas. It was, and it was a pretty good situation. It worked for them. So going back to my story, I said, "Hey, say this for me," and she said, "Okay, I'll do that for you." But again, just $7,000 more right here. Yeah, pony up. Great. So I told mother-in-law and wife about it. They went over and looked at it on Saturday, and Sunday morning we were signing papers in her office.
that's fast.
That's fast. That's really quick. So because they still had our deposit, and in keeping it real, we're at the point of, you know, like you said, being able to afford a house, not afford a house. This takes a lot to admit, but we're in that situation where I don't know how many Americans out there have home debt, have a lot of debt and everything, and we're just drowning in it. And we got to the point, we had some professional advice or help or whatever, whatever you want to call it. I'm not going to mention any names, but this person helped us a lot. We went to one of the seminars and bought the courses and stuff. We're like, you know, we've got to do this. We've got to get out of this debt because it's just going to drown you and it's just going to put stress on your relationship, stress on you. You're going to gain weight, and then so what do you do? Because I'm stressed or depressed. I'm going to go buy more stuff or eat more stuff. So we're like, you know something? We got to a point where it's time that we actually are going to sell our house.
Yeah.
And now I know that you're out there listening or watching, wherever you are, you're like, that's insane. Everybody I tell that to says, wait a minute, you have 2 kids. Where are you going to live? I'm like, I'm not going to be freaking homeless.
No, I mean, come on.
I'm employed, and that's good, but to have an emergency fund, say something happens, I can always go back and do that. And so that's going to be a big thing. So I can afford my house payment.
Of course.
Because again, Grandma lives with us, she obviously helps out with a portion of that, and we have ours. But that's about all I can afford. And my wife works too. But then we have student loan, credit card debt, stupid decisions we've made. Say, you know, before we got raises and everything, before we got that, if things weren't where they were financially where we should have been, we put stuff on a credit card. So now we're still paying for that. Say we wanted to take a vacation, you know, great, the vacation follows you home.
Sure.
That's
unless you go to Vegas, whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, except for the credit card bills.
Except for the fee.
Except for the fees.
Except for the bills. That is great.
Oh, and HIV and herpes. That's forever.
Yeah, that's gross. Love you, Las Vegas. You got a fun town. It's good to go and visit, and then probably leave. There's trade shows down there. Gotta love it. It's nice and dry.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. It takes a lot to say that. Hey, guess what? I am gonna make that huge jump and sell this I don't know, the solidarity or the foundation or whatever you want to call it. But my wife and I have had long discussions about this. And it's like, so, yeah, you have a house, you have equity, but
Well,
that's it.
that's really it.
What are you going to do with that? And you're just going to keep yourself getting deeper and deeper and deeper
Yeah, I mean,
into debt. So you're going to rent for a while and
well, I mean,
reassess the situation in a year.
I hate to
That's
say
our plan.
congratulations, but I mean, it takes a smart person to realize that whole situation. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't go that far, but
Well, I exactly would, because years ago, like when my wife and I first met, when I came here in 09, I was getting a divorce. This was my only option. My two best friends in the world lived out here in Fernley.
okay.
And, you know, in case you guys are just now tuning in, you know, we live in the Reno area, so Fernley is like 40 miles away. But I had no option. I had to quit my job that was solid. I was at that place for almost 10 years. I was on my 10-year mark.
Wow.
And then I came here. I didn't have anything but a bunch of debt left over from that whole thing. And so I guess what happened was the market crashed, but my spending didn't.
Yeah, that
So
happened
debt and
to a
debt and
lot
debt.
of people.
And I never dealt with it, so it all went to collections or this and that and haunted me and blah, 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 blah. Finally got a good job and stuff, and I met an awesome woman who made me quite literally pull my head out of my ass. And like, hey, listen, stupid. Like, quite literally, like, hey, listen, dummy. You got to do something about that.
Yeah.
You know? So my first kind of experience with dealing with something kind of similar, it's not a house, but cars. I love cars. I
think we're
fucking
both the same
love
boat.
cars. I love cars so much. If I had the property, I'd have a bunch of cars.
Yeah.
In the same way that old ladies have cats. I'd name them and everything. Speaking of cats, my dog's joining us in the show. If you see us on YouTube, you can see my dog. He's Tank. He's a great dog. But my first experience with this whole thing was I had a Fox Body Mustang that I wanted for years from a friend. I used to do a lot of street racing back in the day, and one of my first street races was against this guy, this car.
Yeah.
So I was able to buy this car or whatever, and I loved it. It was great. It was clean. It's hard to find those cars nice. But I had to sell it because I got the idea from the wife that if I didn't sell it and deal with my debt, there wasn't going to be a whole lot of relationship past where we were at.
Wow. That's strong.
And I can't blame her for
Both
that.
of you.
I mean, it's not her problem that I was the way I was. It's not her problem that I was in debt.
Or in that situation.
Yeah, so I mean, it's my problem. A million percent my
Good for her
problem.
to put you in that situation, but hey, check it out.
Yeah, you
You
know,
don't fix this. This is it.
it's not her problem, you know. So I sold the car. A little bit undervalued, but I sold the car to pay for bankruptcy. And this was back in 2011, I think. I don't know. Anyway, 2011.
Yeah.
Sold the car. Had enough to pay for bankruptcy. All that stuff got taken care of. And at the time, my credit score was like freaking 190 or something stupid.
It was like negative
But
4.
if it's possible to have a negative credit score, I'm your guy.
Your credit score is 6.
Yeah. What?
Great.
Like what? No,
Crap.
-6. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, sorry.
But so you know, I get it. And then what happened? Oh, I started being responsible. I had a
Which
steady
is really
relationship.
freaking hard.
It is because I spent a lot of my life not having anything. I barely had a pot to piss in. My family did what they could to make sure we had what we needed,
Yeah.
and sometimes what we wanted, but mostly what we needed. So I feel like in my adult life, I spent a lot of money on stuff that I wanted versus needed,
Yeah.
and that led me into a bad deal. So
I think a lot of us go through that. There was some statistic where it's like 80% of America is in debt, but only 20% are concerned about it.
yeah,
It's like,
it's ridiculous.
hold on. What about the other one?
What?
You just put your head in the sand and forget it's not there? What is that?
Like an ostrich.
Yeah, exactly. You know, if I don't see it, it doesn't exist. La la la.
And you know, it's funny you say that because I feel like that's probably how I lived my life for my adult life. If I don't see it, it's not there.
Yeah.
So what happened? I got responsible. I met an awesome woman. I have a family. I had to get responsible really quickly. We were able to buy a house a few years back here in Reno, and then we made the decision to relocate up north. So we sold that house. We got a good deal on that house. That house was $109,000.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, if you're in the Bay Area, even during the economic crunch, houses were still $250 easy. You can find them for less than that in the
I
actual
don't think
Bay
you can
Area.
even buy
but-
like a converted
Trailer.
condo or trailer for $109,000 in the Bay Area.
Yeah,
Maybe a box in the Golden Gate Park.
maybe.
Maybe.
That's how much the fine would be if they catch your ass sleeping in Golden Gate Park.
This is true.
Probably.
Maybe hide in the bushes.
But we sold the place and we moved up north, up to the northwest there, and that house cost $279,000 for a house that was built in the 70s. Somebody,
a little steep.
it was a flip. Somebody flipped it and did a horrible job updating it. Was it a terrible house? No, but somebody clearly was
it
pinching
quick
pennies,
money?
looking for some stuff.
Just put lipstick on a pig sort of thing.
Yeah, and back to what you were saying about debt and all of that. I got a job up there as a service advisor at a very high volume Subaru dealership. If you don't know, Subarus are like the car to have up there.
Yeah.
When I went to Subaru training, the people in the office were like, "Oh yeah, the Pacific Northwest accounts for 90% of nationwide Subaru sales."
Wow.
So I don't know if they're pulling my leg or what. So don't quote me on that. It's not my fault. I'm just repeating what I was told. But it wouldn't surprise me because every other car is a freaking Subaru up there, and we're the only dealership in downtown Portland that had a dealership. You can go to Independence or whatever, but we were the dealer.
Yeah.
I made good money. I was making, mid-70s. And
That's good money.
That's good money.
That's really good money. Talking
But it's
to people in
expensive to
their
live
cars.
up there. And
Is it more expensive than here?
well, I'm gonna mention that.
Where we're getting? Okay.
So I didn't want to go, but I went. Happy wife, happy life.
Nice.
That whole thing. I kind of needed a change also, to be fair. I don't know what that change was, but I needed a change. So we went up there. I was like, oh crap, $280,000 for a house. This is ridiculous. But we did it. So we sold it. We made a little bit of money. We came back. We love Reno so much. I love Reno so much. We came back. I'll be damned if my wife wasn't right. A year after we lived up there, I was bitching about living up there. I was like, we need to go back. It's cheaper, blah, 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 blah. She's like, watch, we're going to move back, and shit's going to be more expensive down there in Reno than it is,
Yeah. Is that right?
here in the Northwest. And sure as shit, I'm admitting this right now, for the most part, she's correct. Yeah, you can find houses and stuff that are that aren't, or that are under $250,000
Here?
here.
Not something you necessarily want to live in.
Well, no. Like right now, I'm in Cold Springs. Anybody that knows the Reno area knows Cold Springs is. Everybody's like, oh, that's so far. It's not that far. Shut up.
Yeah, it is.
Damn you. But I mean, still, like, there's houses here that were literally 6 months ago probably selling for $260,000, $270,000, and I just saw one posted for like $350,000. It jumped up like 50 grand plus.
Yeah, see, that's
60,
insane.
70 grand plus.
That's insane. Yeah.
And what's happening here is, you're talking about debt and stuff and having to sell your house and rent and stuff. What's happening is all these companies are coming to Reno, and all of that, and the cost of living is going up. Like to buy a house, to rent, to live. We're not talking about grocery costs or anything, which is going up also, but the cost of living and stuff is going up. But the wages are not.
No. They're
Like
not.
right now, literally, I'm a wrench in a shop here in Reno, and I'm literally making the same amount now per hour that I was making back in the year 2000, doing a job with less responsibility.
Yeah.
That could be because of multiple reasons.
Yeah. Okay.
But when I moved back here, I couldn't afford a whole lot of stuff. My wife does nails. She's an up-and-comer. She's doing the best she can. I'm trying to be the man and support everybody, and it's tough. I had this truck. I loved it. It was great. I had to sell it. Because I sold the truck, I didn't need an expensive insurance. So all of this shit.
That's strong for being, like you and I, for being in the car business and having, this was, so those of you that obviously don't know, you obviously don't know because we're still pretty new at this. This was a Trailblazer SS, fun, fun dad wagon. It was everything. You know, you could tow with it, you could haul the kids to it, and it was, you know, you could run down Mustangs with it on the freeway just for fun with the AC on.
Yeah, this thing, it was modified, it was tuned, it was painted, it was nice. I will say, I bought it that way, so I can't take any credit for its modifications. I was just handed the packet of paperwork that came with the truck saying that the tranny was rebuilt and that it was tuned and it had this and that, the other thing. You can just picture, you know, Trailblazer, 450 horsepower, all-wheel drive.
It's fun.
Flat black, tinted windows, all blacked out. I'm 40 years old, I have no business being in this truck, but I love the shit out of it. It was great.
But I remember when you sold that. For me, that was like, that was before this whole concept or idea of me going, hey, I'm going to sell my house. I was like, wow, Dave like actually did that. He just like, you know, the stuff got real. You can't afford it, so you got rid of it. I was just like, instead of just going, no, I'm going to keep it and put my groceries on a credit card. I deserve this. And by the way, nobody deserves anything.
No.
Okay, we're not 12.
Yeah, we're not 12.
You go and you do your thing and you work and you provide, you know, do the best you can and just make stuff happen. But you don't deserve anything. It's my opinion. You know, nothing gets handed to you. And if it does in this world, great, good for you.
I mean, if you go through all these crazy financial decisions and you don't, like for me it was bankruptcy. If you go through all of that and you're dumb enough to do it again,
yeah, that's
you know what I drive now? You know what I drive now? A car that my wife named Pimp Juice.
This is awesome, by the way.
You remember the cop cars back in the early mid '90s, Chevy Caprices, those and the Impala SSs, and the big sedans, right? I drive one of those now. Is it the best car in the world? It very well could be.
You know why it is? Because it's paid for and it gets you from point A to point B.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say yes, it is.
But they beat the shit out of these cars. My car isn't lucky enough to be
They use
an
these
old
as
cop
taxi
car.
cabs.
Yeah, they do. And they drive forever.
Yeah.
Right. I drive one of those now. Is it what I want to drive? No. Quite honestly, if I had a choice, I'd want a second-gen CTSV. I would drive the crap out of that car.
Yeah.
I tell you what. But hey, tell you what. There you go. TellYouWhat.com. I guess that's not really correct either.
TellYouWhatPodcast.com.
There we go.
Something like that, yeah.
But that's what I want. Anyway, the point is, the financial struggle is real. There are so many struggles in life that happen to people. And like Johnny made the decision to sell his brand new house, and people are like, "What the fuck? What are you doing?"
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Everybody asks me, they're just like,
Look at the greater picture.
yeah. Everybody I tell that to, like, you know, the only question I've got to people that I've told that to, and people that I like really trust before, I was like really kind of like, I was still about 70% sold on this idea of me actually doing this, and I would tell it to people, and they look at me just shocked, like, "Where are you gonna live?" Like, I'm not just gonna like sell it and walk down the damn street.
You're not.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just gonna start walking around, going, "Oh, I guess I'll just pitch my tent here with 2 kids." No, the rental market's hot, the real estate market's hot, so, and we'll have enough money to put aside and have that cushion, have that extra barrier in case something happens, and pay off all our debt. And so our cars are going to be paid for very, very soon. I think my wife's car, there's one like $800. I don't know, it's something ridiculous like that. And both our cars still run and function just fine. Again, we're in the automotive business, so getting these fixed isn't, you know, that big of a deal. So everybody I told that to was just like, what? But I'm going to rent, and my goal, I told her, and I would tell everybody, is in about 12 months, I'm going to see where we're at. So we have another couple money-making ventures. We're Amazon sellers, online sellers. We can, you know, maybe see if we can make anything of this. So but this is mainly just to like help folks out, get people talking. Again, write us in, tell us what you think. What's your situation? What's your financial struggle? And that's where I'm at.
Yeah, give us some feedback.
I'm gonna sell my house and rent for a while and do my thing and see where we're at. So debt's evil. It's pretty awful. It's pretty bad.
You know what else is pretty awful? Not to change the subject too bad. So just for everybody watching at home, and listening on the podcast, we are recording YouTube footage so we could have a YouTube channel of the podcast
Yeah.
also. Because, I mean, some people are going to want to know what we look like. Right? I mean, I look like this. I don't care what I look like.
Yeah.
I mean, I see what Johnny looks like almost every day.
Yeah.
But you
I
guys...
try not to look in the mirror.
Yeah, me either. And ironically enough, I'm pretty antisocial.
Yeah, which is
Weird, right? Kind of, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's a trendy thing to do. I think they call those emos.
Emo?
I don't fucking know. But anyway, I'm looking at our setup there. It's literally, we're recording video with an iPhone.
Yeah.
And we're running audio through a mixer and all this stuff. And yeah, right here. So I love admitting when I'm wrong because it shocks the shit out of people. The last lady, I said something about I did something wrong. She's like, I've never heard a man say that. I was like, well, I got a good woman at home, so I just say that I'm wrong all the time. No big deal.
Strong follow-up.
If you look at that phone over there, I'm realizing that I forgot to plug in the microphone.
Oh, well, shit.
So yes, the audio's gonna suck. But I just want to say, for the sake of keeping it real, that's why the audio sucks, and it will be better next time, I promise. But I'm not gonna stop.
That's fantastic. So, but yeah, at the only thing today, this is a podcast, and thank you again for listening.
Yeah.
This is first and foremost. The video thing was kind of just a follow-up with, hey, let's just put it on YouTube for a while. Just decided to kind of get, more audience exposure. Kind of get other folks
I mean, some
out
people
there.
are curious. I've always listened to the radio, and I've always wondered, what do these freaking people look like?
Right.
And I kind of wanted to do that for everybody else, But we are learning. We're going to. Yeah, you're welcome. I think the words you're looking for are "you're welcome." Moana.
Moana? Is that? I haven't seen that movie.
The movie's good.
So I've heard.
I enjoy it. But yeah, tellyouvhatpodcast.com is the web address.
Yeah.
And give us feedback. Our direct links for Facebook and YouTube are on there.
Yes, they are.
And like I said, we're improving every day. So
We're trying to, anyhow.
We're trying to do the best we can, but we can't do it without you guys. So tell us, is there something you want us to talk about? Do we suck? Are we okay? Do we just need a little bit of improvement? Let us know.
Let us
Please.
know. Drop us a line.
There is a contact form on our website too.
Absolutely. So, thank you guys for listening. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up right there. And